Ah, there you are. I apologize for calling you in so suddenly. Please, sit. There is a matter I would like to discuss with you. I believe I've told you this before, but it is my responsibility to aid the Archbishop in all her duties. Spiritual instruction, ceremony oversight, donation management, all of the Church's many administrative tasks. I oversee not only the priesthood, but also the Knights of Seiros and the Officers' Academy. The Archbishop entrusts a great deal to my discretion, and I am honored by her confidence. Even when she must make decisions herself, she often seeks my counsel in advance. And yet, your appointment to a teaching position at the Officers' Academy was a complete surprise to me. You should be fully investigated at a minimum before being trusted with such a responsibility. But no such investigation has been conducted. I know you are skilled in war and in matters of strategy, but beyond that, I know next to nothing about you. That is indeed what it comes down to, if I'm being honest. Please understand that I mean no offense. First, I would like to know just how much you know about yourself. You are the child of Geralt Eisner, correct? That's quite a vague reply for such a basic question. In the future, I would advise you to answer such queries with confidence. As the former captain of the Knights of Seiros, Geralt is renowned throughout Fodlan. If you really are his child, then no one would voice any complaint about you joining the Knights. How long has it been since you became a mercenary? Given your youth, that hardly seems likely. Come to think of it, I have never asked your age. Just how old are you exactly? Your face says it all. You truly don't know, do you? Just what was Gerald thinking, raising you this way? Given your responses thus far, I feel as though any further questions would just be a waste of our time. However, permit me to make one thing clear. Whatever her reasons, the Archbishop has placed great faith in you. Do not betray that trust. That is all. Professor, a moment. I am sorry that I doubted your ability. I deeply regret ever holding such a view of you. It is obvious to me now that you are extraordinary. Do you doubt your own power, even now? I suppose that's only natural. You've lived your whole life knowing next to nothing about yourself. Not even Geralt could have possibly known all there is to know about you. But I wonder, are you satisfied with that? Are you content, not knowing who you are? Or do you yearn to know more? That was a foolish question, of course. You are not the sort to be complacent. So, only one more question matters. Are you ready? The truth. All of it. Learning it will doubtlessly have direct consequences on your life. I do not know what those will be. You may decide, once you learn it, that you wish you hadn't. But even if you have such regrets, you will never be able to return to ignorance. So, are you ready to know the truth? I see. That is what I wish to hear. The Archbishop continues to put her faith in you, and so you will continue to have my aid. More than that, I will put my faith in you as well, and I will do all that is within my power to help you someday reach the truth. May I discuss something with you? I promised to help you find the truth of who you are, but I'm afraid it's not that simple. There are some details I have kept concealed. 5 years ago, before she vanished, I asked Rhea some pointed questions. I learned that she knows everything about you. No, that is understating it. Rhea is responsible for your existence. I could explain to you here and now what fragments of knowledge I was able to pry from Rhea. I fear, however, that a partial understanding might do you more harm than good. Once we save Rhea, you will know the whole of it. For now, that is all I can tell you. If you are still uncertain about your feelings, then permit me to add one more thing. You, Rhea, and I, we are like family. Because of those deep ties, you can be certain that I will never abandon or betray you. On the contrary, I greatly wish to see what your future holds. I am, and will always be, your ally. You are not wrong. History is full of examples. I don't believe that will be the case here, but I suppose all I can do is ask for your trust. The truth is, you have become indispensable to me. And that is true quite independently of whether I see eye to eye with Rhea, or even whether we are friends. After this war is over, where I go and what I do will depend wholly on you. I am still trying to figure that out myself. Perhaps it is just that I find you so fascinating that I cannot bring myself to leave your side. I dislike a one-sided conversation, but in this case I am afraid I had no choice. Our future is yours to determine. Ah, there you are. I apologize for calling you in so suddenly. Please, sit. There is a matter I would like to discuss with you. I believe I've told you this before, but it is my responsibility to aid the Archbishop in all her duties. Spiritual instruction, ceremony oversight, donation management, all of the Church's many administrative tasks. I oversee not only the priesthood, but also the Knights of Seiros and the Officers' Academy. The Archbishop entrusts a great deal to my discretion, and I am honored by her confidence. Even when she must make decisions herself, she often seeks my counsel in advance. And yet, your appointment to a teaching position at the Officers' Academy was a complete surprise to me. You should be fully investigated at a minimum before being trusted with such a responsibility. But no such investigation has been conducted. I know you are skilled in war and in matters of strategy, but beyond that, I know next to nothing about you. That is indeed what it comes down to, if I'm being honest. Please understand that I mean no offense. First, I would like to know just how much you know about yourself. You are the child of Geralt Eisner, correct? That's quite a vague reply for such a basic question. In the future, I would advise you to answer such queries with confidence. As the former captain of the Knights of Seiros, Geralt is renowned throughout Fodlan. If you really are his child, then no one would voice any complaint about you joining the Knights. How long has it been since you became a mercenary? Given your youth, that hardly seems likely. Come to think of it, I have never asked your age. Just how old are you exactly? Your face says it all. You truly don't know, do you? Just what was Gerald thinking, raising you this way? Given your responses thus far, I feel as though any further questions would just be a waste of our time. However, permit me to make one thing clear. Whatever her reasons, the Archbishop has placed great faith in you. Do not betray that trust. That is all. Professor, a moment. I am sorry that I doubted your ability. I deeply regret ever holding such a view of you. It is obvious to me now that you are extraordinary. Do you doubt your own power, even now? I suppose that's only natural. You've lived your whole life knowing next to nothing about yourself. Not even Gerald could have possibly known all there is to know about you. But I wonder, are you satisfied with that? Are you content, not knowing who you are? Or do you yearn to know more? That was a foolish question, of course. You are not the sort to be complacent. So, only one more question matters. Are you ready? The truth. All of it. Learning it will doubtlessly have direct consequences on your life. I do not know what those will be. You may decide, once you learn it, that you wish you hadn't. But even if you have such regrets, you will never be able to return to ignorance. So, are you ready to know the truth? I see. That is what I wish to hear. The Archbishop continues to put her faith in you, and so you will continue to have my aid. More than that, I will put my faith in you as well, and I will do all that is within my power to help you someday reach the truth. May I discuss something with you? I promised to help you find the truth of who you are, but I'm afraid it's not that simple. There are some details I have kept concealed. 5 years ago, before she vanished, I asked Rhea some pointed questions. I learned that she knows everything about you. No, that is understating it. Rhea is responsible for your existence. I could explain to you here and now what fragments of knowledge I was able to pry from Rhea. I fear, however, that a partial understanding might do you more harm than good. Once we save Rhea, you will know the whole of it. For now, that is all I can tell you. If you are still uncertain about your feelings, then permit me to add one more thing. You, Rhea, and I, we are like family. Because of those deep ties, you can be certain that I will never abandon or betray you. On the contrary, I greatly wish to see what your future holds. I am, and will always be, your ally. You're not wrong. History is full of examples. I don't believe that will be the case here, but I suppose all I can do is ask for your trust. The truth is, you have become indispensable to me. And that is true quite independently of whether I see eye to eye with Rhea, or even whether we are friends. After this war is over, where I go and what I do will depend wholly on you. I am still trying to figure that out myself. Perhaps it is just that I find you so fascinating that I cannot bring myself to leave your side. I dislike a one-sided conversation, but in this case, I am afraid I had no choice. Our future is yours to determine. You must be exhausted. It seems like our work has only increased since the war's end, doesn't it? I am afraid that will not do, Your Majesty. We are in the process of forging a new age. All of Fodlan, noble and commoner alike, is watching your every move. You cannot abandon your post now. The people would feel betrayed. Rhea imparted this role to you, and you are the only one who can fulfill it and accomplish all that must be done. Do you think anyone will permit you to shrink from this noble duty? I am sworn to help you as best I can. That sometimes requires brutal honesty. Believe me, I am just as overburdened as you. But I will not abandon this. Where you go, I follow. Yes, for whatever centuries may yet be ours, I will always remain by your side. That is why I hope you will accept this. I will just come out with it. I love you. Deeply. Will you marry me? Since I have already tied my fate to yours, I could not help but imagine how lovely it would be to exchange wedding vows with you. But there is one thing I want to make sure you understand beyond any doubt. I am not proposing to you out of a sense of duty, nor a desire to perpetuate our bloodline. I want this because I am in love with you. I cannot conceive of a world without you in it. If you feel the same, will you do me the honor of joining your life with mine? You will. Then allow me to renew my pledge. From this day forward, I will always be at your side. Through good or ill fortune, through the greatest of joys and the worst of woes. No matter how daunting the task, I will be there. However, we must always remember our duty to the people, even if it is at the expense of our happiness. We should wait to announce our marriage until Fodlan's stability is restored. And with the thought of that day in mind, we must now return to our work. There are people waiting outside your office. Courage, my love. Let us go forth and face the world together.
Oh, is that Seteth? Wow, he looks really deep in thought. I wonder what he's writing. A secret diary, maybe?
That phrase doesn't quite work, does it? Let's see about an alternative.
Too uncertain for a diary. Maybe it's a letter. Or a poem.
No, that's bound to introduce misunderstanding. Precision is the key.
It must be really important if he's putting that much thought into every word.
But I mustn't overcomplicate things either. Parting words ought to be precise.
Parting? It's a farewell letter? Is he writing his resignation? Seteth can be a little scary sometimes, but I hope he doesn't leave. It'd be sad to see him go. He shouldn't make such rash decisions. If he's unhappy about something, he should tell someone.
Come now. Do you really think I would resign?
You heard all that?
If you don't wish to be heard talking to yourself, then you should not speak so loudly. I'm sorry to hear that you find me intimidating.
I'm sorry! I won't disturb you ever again!
Wait, Bernadetta! Typical behavior for the girl. Most concerning. Can she really go through life this way?
Excuse me.
Yes? What is it?
I'm really sorry about what I said. I shouldn't have called you scary, even if, you are. I said it again. I'm sorry.
It is nothing I haven't heard before. I am well aware of my austere nature, and I am accustomed to the commentary it brings. I do confess, however, that I was slightly hurt to see you flee from me in such abject terror.
Don't be sad. I'll never do it again. I promise. But, I've been wondering, were you really writing a farewell letter?
That. No, actually. I was composing a fable centered around Saint Indec.
I didn't know you wrote fables. But what's it about?
Saint Indec, one of the four saints. He was an extraordinarily shy person. It is said that he spent most of his life in solitude, unable to open his heart to anyone.
I like him already.
He was, after all, a man who hid himself away at the bottom of a lake.
What's that about a lake?
Nothing. Now, something else to know about Saint Indec is that he had incredible skill with his hands. And that skill made him beloved by the people because he constantly applied it to their benefit. The moral of the story is that shortcomings can be made up for with talent and kindness.
I like it, but I don't have any talents like that. I can't even imagine being that helpful to people. Saint Indec must have been really gifted.
Don't be so quick to dismiss your abilities. You and he are actually alike in more ways than one. You possess Indec's crest, after all, do you not?
Yes, I do. You really think we're alike? Now I want to know all about him. Do you think I could read your fable when it's done?
Absolutely. Indec's example is something that we can all learn from.
Thanks so much. I'm excited to see it. Here's your book of fables you let me, Seteth. It was so interesting to learn all about Saint Indec that I read it cover to cover in one sitting.
Impressive. I'm glad you enjoyed it. What's this sticking out between the pages? Is this an illustration?
No, nothing like that. I must have stuck it in there and forgotten. Just, give it back, please.
Are you certain this was accidental? It quite fits the descriptions in this chapter. Ah, I see. You included an illustration where you thought the visual would be helpful.
No, not at all. I was just fooling around. I have an overactive imagination, and I forgot to take it out before I gave you the book back.
It really is a lovely drawing, you know. Now that I've seen it, the book would feel incomplete without it. But who is this man next to Saint Indec? I can't help but notice he bears a resemblance to me.
Oh, that's Saint Keyhole. The book describes him as one of Saint Indec's closest friends. I got the feeling he was a very serious man, but also really kind. You know, like you. So that probably explains the, resemblance.
I have to say, I never would have expected to be a reference model for Saint Keyhole. What a curious ambivalence.
What about furious violence?
No, what I meant to say is that I am both flattered and a little embarrassed to be portrayed in this way. Perhaps it is because, in my study of him, I feel like I've also become a friend to Saint Indec. Records show that Saint Indec and Saint Keyhole worked together to achieve great things. If possible, I would like it if the two of us could similarly combine our efforts.
What? How do we figure into this?
We each bear their respective crests, do we not? One might also say that just as I am this book's author, you are now its illustrator. So why don't you do some more illustrations? And color them as well. We'll add them to the book.
You really want me to? I don't know if I'm good enough for something like that.
Ah, Bernadetta, have you finished your illustrations?
Yes, I have. Finally. This is the first time I've ever made anything for a real-life book. I was up all night finishing these. Bernie's all burned out now. I guess if they're no good, we'll just have to burn them all, huh?
Let's leave the topic of burning aside for now, shall we? Show me what you've done.
So, what do you think?
This is excellent work. The color, especially. It truly brings your art to life. I will see that the new edition of our book is added to the Garrigmock collection.
Really? Oh, that's such a relief. It was a tough job, but yeah, there's nothing Bernie can't handle.
You certainly do have some impressive mood swings. Actually, there is one thing I'd like to discuss.
Oh no, what did I get wrong?
Relax. I simply wanted to ask you about this last image. This is you here, is it not?
Yes. Is that wrong? What's wrong with it?
Nothing at all. I'm only curious. Does that make me the person standing beside you?
Oh, no, that's Saint Keyhole.
Is that so? Then I must ask, What relationship are you suggesting you have with him?
Well, I got the impression that the story of Saint Indec was told from Saint Keyhole's point of view. So I just imagined that I asked Saint Keyhole about it. And, that's where the picture came from. I guess I overdid it, huh? That's weird, isn't it? It's really weird. We can scrap it. Let's just get rid of it.
Ah, so that's why. That's amusing.
It is?
Very much. And I think this is a very fitting end to the book, actually. Saint Keyhole and Bernadetta. They would have made quite an interesting pair, I think. In fact, if the two of you had lived in the same time, I am certain you would share a deep bond.
What? Saint Keyhole and me? No way. I've already got my hands full just trying to be friends with you. But I've managed that at least, right? Haven't I?
Absolutely.
May I help you, Seteth?
Finally noticed me, I see. Good to see that you are so dedicated to your training.
Do you have need of my sword?
No, this is not a military matter. I would like to discuss the distance you seem to be keeping from the others.
Distance? I don't follow.
I have noticed that you like to keep others at arm's length, and in most cases, quite a bit further.
Keeping a close eye on me. They don't share my values, that's all.
Is that why you train alone? Because your friends do not share your values?
You seem displeased. I suppose you're going to tell me, to defeat your enemies, you must have dependable allies.
That's not exactly how I would phrase it, but having good relationships with your allies is essential in combat. I am sure you realize that it is easier to bond with people when you interact with them more. There are limits to what one person can do alone. Great things cannot be achieved without allies.
You sound like my father. You're saying it's in my own interest to make friends?
To put it simply, yes. As much as you possibly can. To be honest, I envy you, because I know what it is like to not have many people to call friends.
I wouldn't have guessed that. There are so many devout believers.
I am talking about friends. People to speak with on equal terms. You have many friends here. You should take care to attend to them.
I'll consider your advice, but I'm not usually one to change my mind.
To be young. Hello, Felix. Training alone again, I see.
Spying on me again, I see.
It is not my intention to spy. I am merely concerned about you. I do not think you have been keeping your friends at a distance because you dislike them personally. Rather, I think what bothers you is their concept of proper knighthood. Is that not so?
You really have been watching me closely. You're correct. I don't understand why they revere knighthood. I won't be friends with anyone who believes in that nonsense.
Do you feel that way because of what happened in the tragedy of Dusker? I have heard the story. Your brother was one of the royal knights. He gave his life to defend the prince.
My brother was doing his job. My father is the real problem. When my brother's armor was brought back to the castle, do you know what he said? He died like a true knight. Chivalry begets the worship and glorification of death. Am I alone in finding that grotesque? I suppose you'll excommunicate me for blaspheming like this.
Not at all. I am not a knight, so I have no intentions of lecturing you about chivalry. So long as one's conduct is consistent with the teachings of the goddess, it is up to the individual to decide right from wrong.
In that case, I'd like you to formally pardon me for not having friends.
You require no such pardon. This is merely advice from an old man to a younger one. As unwavering as your convictions may be, the others also feel strongly about their beliefs. If you hate all those whose beliefs are different from yours, you will hate everyone eventually. People with exactly the same beliefs as you simply do not exist. You do not have to change your beliefs, of course. But you do have to accept that others feel differently. That is my advice to you. I will speak no more of it.
Seteth, can I ask one thing? Why are you going out of your way to tell me this? Why bother with me at all?
Because I trust you. Now that I've heard what you have to say, I trust you even more. I am also a rather eccentric person. I thought you and I might get along.
I see. You've gone to so much trouble. I may have to start making an effort as well.
Good. Do not take this the wrong way, but I hope you will surpass my expectations. Is something troubling you, Ingrid?
Oh, Seteth. You seem to have caught me when I thought nobody was around.
Perhaps I can help, if you would like to share.
I wouldn't want to bother you with my trivialities.
I will not pry, of course. But if you keep it to yourself, no one will be able to help you.
That's true. It's regarding my father.
Count Galatea. I have met him once or twice.
Yes, that's him. He and I have parted ways now. House Galatea was financially unstable for a long time. We were hardly able to support our soldiers and their steeds. My father had hopes that with my crest, I'd be married into a noble family, and that House Galatea's financial troubles would be a thing of the past.
Ah, I see. And the other house would benefit from the addition of your crest-bearing blood.
That was certainly the idea, but I broke ties with them. I do wonder how they are doing back home.
It seems to me you have suffered much for the misfortune of being born with a crest.
I beg your pardon?
I know crests are highly valued, but they are also a burden. My feelings are mixed.
You truly think so? But you're so devoted to the goddess. I'm surprised to hear you say such a thing.
Perhaps one day I will expound upon my opinion of crests in greater detail with you. For now, let it suffice to say that whether or not you bear one is secondary to your identity. You are a person, first and foremost. And you should be permitted to grow as a person, crest or not.
I agree. Thank you for listening.
If you ever wish to discuss this again, consider me available whenever you please.
Thank you so much.
Ingrid, are you familiar with the story of the King of Liberation and the 10 elites of Fodlan?
Of course. They were the heroes who struck down evil with the power of the sacred weapons, protecting our land and people. Their strength was passed down through the ages, manifesting itself in the crest some of us are born with.
Yes, the 10 elites certainly possessed great power. But does that make them worthy of worship?
I imagine you ask because they later fought amongst themselves, turning on one another, ravaging the land.
Precisely. Initially, Nemesis and the 10 elites worked together to bring peace to Fodlan. But soon their ambitions got the best of them, and they clashed, using their sacred weapons on anyone they chose, strong and weak alike. What I mean to say is, possessing strength alone does not make one worthy of respect. Rather, one should be judged by how they choose to use that strength.
Yes, I agree.
If you follow that logic, then you will see it also applies to those who are born with crests. Now think of how your father wishes to wed you to another family's fortune on the basis of your crest.
Yes? What of it?
These are purely inherited qualities. Is it not foolish to judge a person's value by some inherited fortune? That is all a crest is, really.
That's what I think too. Having a crest or not has no bearing on your worth as a person.
I understand that Count Galatea believes he has the right to manage your affairs. I am certain he has his own share of problems, and I do not wish to meddle or lay blame. But if there is anything I should like to say to his daughter, it is this. How you live your life is up to you.
Thank you for your counsel and wisdom, Seteth. Father's hopes were dashed long ago. I will take some time to reflect on what lies ahead. My future.
Still contemplating, I see.
Without so much as a word, you've read me through and through. Since last we spoke, I've been thinking a lot about my future. How I want to spend my life. It's a lot to think about, and I haven't entirely sorted out where I'm going. I think I need more time to grow.
On the contrary, you have given this honest and sincere thought. I am quite impressed, actually.
You're impressed with me?
Worry about the future is not unique to youth. It is human nature. At the risk of being overbearing, might I offer you one more piece of advice?
Of course.
Have you considered what your life would be like had you not been born with a crest? Do you suppose that you would have been ordinary? Insignificant? I do not think so. Even without a crest, such a promising young lady as yourself would have a bright future ahead of her.
Seteth, I
am not typically inclined to flattery, so I hope you will take my words to heart. Have faith in yourself. If you trade that faith for a misplaced pride in your crest, I will have to reassess your character.
I've no intention of doing such a thing. It will take me time and experience, but I will find my path and walk it proudly.
I am glad to hear it, Ingrid.
Oh, Seteth! Good day to you, and farewell.
Just a moment, Hilda. How are you feeling?
Sorry? Oh, fine. I'm doing just fine.
I'm glad to hear it. I had heard that you requested a substitute for your cleaning duty due to an illness.
You really do know everything, Seteth.
Just prior to that, you also asked for someone to take your place with table setting. I believe that was due to a wrist injury. It was not too serious, I hope.
Ah, you heard about that. The wrist is all healed up, thank you.
I seem to recall also that you declined to participate in a mock battle. That was due to a headache, yes?
I have a very fragile body, you see. It's so kind of everyone to make accommodations.
Indeed. It is a great friend who offers to help without complaint. See that you treasure such friends, and that you return the favor.
Of course! Well then, I should really be...
By the way...
Was there something else you wanted?
It so happens I am on my way to the chapel to offer my prayers. Would you care to join me?
Oh no, I wouldn't want to intrude. I've already offered up all my prayers for the day.
Marvelous. We must always remember to give our thanks to the goddess. It is essential that we offer our prayers to her each day, that we reflect on our deeds and strive to live as she would want us to live. For the goddess sees all that we say and do.
Oh,
Now, if you will excuse me.
Of course. Goodbye now. How is Seteth so scary? It feels like he can see right through me. I guess that's his way of saying stop being lazy. I wish he'd just scold me outright. This is precisely why I try to avoid him. Oh, it's Seteth. I'd better slip away before he...
Ah, I see you are indulging in a bit of reading. You are fond of books, I take it?
Yes, reading's one of my favorite pastimes. I was just finishing up, actually, so I think I'll...
That is most fortuitous.
Fortuitous? How do you figure?
Come with me. I have a story to share with you. Once upon a time, deep in the cold mountains, there lived a lazy fox and an industrious squirrel. The squirrel worked tirelessly all day long, while the fox did nothing but lounge around and play. When autumn came, the squirrel hurriedly gathered up acorns for the winter. But the fox continued to play without a care. A biting winter fell upon the land. The mountains, caked in snow, concealed all nourishment from sight. The hungry fox went to the squirrel's dwelling, but the squirrel had locked up tight and gone to sleep. Every so often, the squirrel would wake, enjoy a nibble of an acorn, and then return to an easy slumber. The fox, on the other hand, with nowhere else to turn, was forced to scrounge for food in the bitter cold of the forest. Forlorn and hungry, he wandered in solitude all through the winter, until spring came once more. And so it is to this very day that foxes are denied the comforts of hibernation.
Ah, I really learned something about foxes. I read lots of fairy tales like that when I was little. But the lazy fox and the industrious squirrel, huh? That one I don't think I've heard before.
That is not surprising, considering I wrote it.
Oh, you wrote it?
I did. When Flayn was young, she loved fairy tales more than anything. I would read them to her often. This one, however, is a more recent creation. I wrote it for the benefit of the children in the monastery. So, what do you think? I'm curious to hear what sort of impression it made on you.
It's so cute!
You found it to be cute?
I can just see it now. You writing fairy tales for your little sister. That's just the cutest thing. Honestly, to me, you usually come across as stern and overly perceptive. But now I know you have a sweet side, too. I feel like I'm seeing you in a whole new light.
That is not what I was hoping to hear. Hello, Hilda.
Oh, Seteth, good day.
Is it?
Did I do something wrong?
Not to my knowledge. But I cannot help but notice that you no longer shy away when I speak to you.
You noticed that, huh? When you stare at me, I feel like you're peering into my soul.
And that no longer bothers you? Does that mean your conscience is finally clear?
Nah, I got used to it. I know you're not scary.
That's unfortunate. You really should do something to correct your lazy behavior.
Maybe that's true. I wouldn't want to be like the fox, forced to wander in the snow all winter.
I'm pleased to see you grasped the moral of the story.
Don't you think the squirrel was a little cold-hearted, though? He seems not to care about what happens to his friend, as long as he himself is happy.
You know, that is a valid point. I have no wish to encourage that attitude in children. Perhaps if the fox only survives thanks to the squirrel kindly sharing some of his acorns. How does that sound to you?
I like it okay. I'm sure that kids will admire that nice, compassionate squirrel.
Thank you for your insight. As it happens, I have some other stories that I wrote for Flayn. Would you like to hear them?
You should make a book out of them. It's a shame that only Flayn and I get to enjoy them.
What a fine idea! I will begin immediately. Though I feel such a book requires illustrations, and I have no artistic talent. Would you lend me a hand?
I can probably manage. Not like they need to be terribly fancy.
I could use some more of your wisdom with regard to the content of the stories also.
That sounds
Sounds like a pain, but I'm invested in this now. Let's do it!
Excellent. That's wonderful to hear. Let us produce the very best book we can, for the children's sake.
He looks so excited. I can't help but lend a hand.
Ah, Hilda. Business in town?
Yes, I'm buying some art supplies.
Oh, to replenish what you used on our book, I presume. Allow me to compensate you.
No need. I use them for my own crafting and accessory making too. By the way, your tales seem quite popular. I saw a big crowd of kids at the church.
Wonderful to hear. We made the right choice leaving it there.
I also heard a mother scolding her child by saying, if you keep lazing around, you'll turn into a fox. Though, as long as there's a friendly squirrel around, being a fox doesn't sound so bad.
That was not my intention. Perhaps the story was better off in its original form after all.
Anyway, I guess you've got something to keep you busy after the war. Originally, these stories were for Flayn, but now there are lots of people who love them. The kids are looking forward to your next release. You don't want to disappoint them.
I do wonder how appropriate it is to sit around and write children's books in an era of great change.
An era of great change. Isn't that exactly when kids need something to hold on to? They're the future of Folin, after all.
Astute observation. But if I am to continue in this trade, I will require more of your assistance.
Really? You're a successful author and you still want to use my lousy illustrations?
I need an artist who can appreciate the message, and who can draw pictures that resonate with children. Your art has a certain careless quality that I feel matches my work splendidly.
A careless quality? That doesn't sound like a compliment.
Did you not purchase those art supplies today in the hopes of continuing with this work?
Well, yes. I guess I can stick with it until the war is over.
Such lukewarm commitment. No matter. We can consider the post-war situation when we come to it.
I'm pretty fond of being a fox, but becoming a squirrel wouldn't be the worst thing. I'll admit, I like seeing Seteth pour his heart into these stories.
What was that?
Didn't say a word. Let's get to work on that sequel.
Oh, hello, Seteth.
Hello, Leonie. I imagine you are here to fish?
Yeah, this is a great spot for it. You must be a pretty experienced fisherman, huh?
Actually, while I have enjoyed the hobby for a long while, I must admit I am less than proficient.
Now that you mention it, I can see you're not having much luck today.
It is likely because I am not using any bait.
Well, that explains it. But why bother fishing at all if you're not even trying to catch something?
Truthfully, I fish only so that I might relax. It is soothing to me to cast the line and watch the water ripple. My days are busy, even hectic. It helps to find peace and quiet every so often.
Oh, that makes sense. Still, if you're going to go to all the trouble, you may as well actually bait the line.
Maybe so. But, to my chagrin, I do not even know what type of bait to use. I learned to fish by accompanying my wife. She was always the one to bait the hooks. She would hand me the rod and I would cast my line. I never paid attention to how the rest was done.
Ah, and your wife, where is she now?
She passed away quite some time ago. Since then, I have only to fish on my own. Even so, I find peace out here. Bait or no bait. What about you? Why do you fish?
Me? Just for the fish, actually. For me, it's purely practical. Catch a bite now, one less meal to worry about later. Hunting, fishing, whatever it takes to get by. That's how I've always done it. I'm not exactly starving right now, but back then, if I couldn't catch something, I'd go hungry. So getting the hang of it was pretty vital.
I would certainly say so. I imagine it is intensely satisfying to catch a fish when the need is so great.
Probably, yeah. The need makes it more purposeful. But hey, if you ever want to try fishing for real, I'd be happy to share my bait with you. And if you catch something, I'll cook it up nicely for you. How's that for motivation?
Oh, are you a skilled chef also?
Can't promise it'll be fancy, but it'll taste good.
Impressive. Wouldn't you know it, I am suddenly overcome with the urge to excel.
Great! Let's get started. Hello again, Seteth. Oh, full basket. Big catch?
Indeed. Thanks to you, I now know all about the proper use of bait.
Even so, that's quite the haul.
I have developed a few tricks of my own as well. In my enthusiasm, I may have gotten a little greedy.
Oh, yeah?
Once I started to catch fish, I began to pay very close attention to the number I had caught. I hear it is not uncommon for one to become a little preoccupied with that sort of thing. And when I recalled the prospect of having what I caught cooked for me, the challenge was too tempting to ignore. But alas, it seems I have gotten a little more preoccupied than is appropriate for my age.
Well, that's only natural. Seeing what you've already got just makes you curious how far you can take it.
It has made fishing an even richer experience for me. And for that, I must thank you.
Don't mention it. Actually, I should thank you too.
Oh?
Yeah. Used to be, I only ever fished for food. Lately, though, I've been coming here just to relax. I do still eat the fish, of course, but I appreciate fishing in a whole new way now.
Seems we have both made worthwhile discoveries. So which is it today? Hunger or relaxation?
I'd only planned to take it easy, but seeing all you've caught has definitely made me hungry.
I had planned to bring all of them to you regardless. Take as many as you please.
Hey, thanks. In that case, why don't we eat together? You can leave all the cooking to me. Today was a great day for fishing, wasn't it?
It was, though I did lose to you in numbers.
You won on size, though. Some of these fish are huge. And it was you who caught this beauty.
It is a lovely specimen. The fins are rather like wings, and the scales are reminiscent of a lustrous rainbow. But I have heard this type of fish does not taste good.
It's a little bland, but it's not bad. You just need to fry it in oil to bring the flavor out. There are lots of little bones, too, so you need to be careful eating it.
You truly are an expert, Leonie. I would be delighted if you would cook for us again.
Happily. You know, once this war's over, I'll be able to make even more elaborate dishes. I'm sure none of it will compare to your wife's cooking, though.
Entirely different styles. I very much look forward to seeing what you come up with. Yet another reason to end this war swiftly.
I'm flattered, but that doesn't seem like a good motivation to fight.
On the contrary, it is better than the usual reasons. In the heat of battle, it is little details like a friend's cooking that I reach for to find my courage.
I have to say, I didn't expect that from you. You're always so serious. But I really value our fishing time, too. With all the chaos, it's great to have a way to relax.
I hope there will come a time when we can fish like this without worry, to our heart's content.
Hope's not enough. We need to build that future with our own hands.
Agreed. But even after that is done, you had better not rest idle. I've grown quite fond of your cooking.
Don't worry. There's plenty more where that came from. Speaking of, time to handle today's haul.
Let me lend you a hand. Flayn! There you are. I've been looking everywhere for you.
You worry too much, brother.
I think a kidnapping is good cause for concern. I was so worried about you I nearly fainted.
Had that not happened, I would have never been allowed to join the professor's class. Even from something so dire, some good did come of it.
That is a dangerous attitude. This world is full of peril. You must be more vigilant. Please understand, I allowed you to enroll here only because I thought it best for your safety.
I am very much aware of that. You wanted to speak to me of something?
Yes, my dear little sister. You are kind beyond all measure, and you are the very picture of innocence. But precisely because of these very fine qualities, I worry about your interactions with the others here. The youths of our army are particularly eccentric. As your brother, it is my duty to help you with any concerns you may have.
I do appreciate the offer, but all the students and professors have treated me exceptionally well.
Even so, there must be at least some worry. Please, you need not conceal anything from me.
You worry far too much. There is truly nothing to share, and nothing for you to fret over.
Are you absolutely sure? The idea of you suffering in silence is unbearable to me.
Enough! I made it clear that nothing is wrong. I stand by my word. Well, there is one concern that comes to mind.
What is it? Tell me. I will help however I can.
There is a certain somebody who seems determined to get in the way of my friendships with my classmates.
What? That's horrible. Fear not. I will handle this scoundrel for you. Just tell me his name.
It is you, brother. Now then, I must be on my way.
What was Flayn getting at just now? Let's see, I was speaking to her. I asked her to share her concerns, and... was there something else? No matter. Fear not, Flayn. Your brother will protect you from all harm.
Brother!
Flayn, is something the matter?
I thought I made it clear that I do not want you meddling in the affairs of me and my friends.
I am not quite sure what you are referring to, but I promise you I would never try to stand in your way.
It has come to my attention that you have been running about asking people what they think of me. Asking everyone!
Well, of course I have. It took me quite some time. But for you, it was well worth the effort. I was able to confirm that you are getting along well with everyone. It was very reassuring.
I cannot emphasize enough how embarrassed I was when I found out. And you have caused such a stir for those whom you questioned. Why, one person even said he feared for his life when you cornered him in the dining hall.
The dining hall? Ah, I know the fellow you are referring to. Yes, I've seen the way he looks at you. I recognized in an instant that he had impure feelings for you. As your brother, I took it upon myself to test his resolve. I merely asked him if he was prepared to lay his life on the line for my beloved sister.
He is nothing more than a friend. Kindly keep out of my social business in the future.
I am happy to see that you are making friends, but you should weigh your options more carefully.
Who I befriend is absolutely none of your business. Do you know what they call people like you? Overprotective meddlers. I am no longer a child. Are you incapable of trusting me, even a little?
Of course I trust you, but as an elder brother, I have a certain responsibility.
As my brother?
Obviously.
Oh, never mind it. If you'll excuse me.
Flayn.
Here to pester me, brother?
No, I think I'm the one who ought to be pestered.
Regardless of what I say to you, it is not as though it has any effect in reducing your worry over me.
That is true. No matter where you are, and no matter what you're doing, I will always worry. But that's only because I treasure you so very much. Please understand, I'm not trying to hurt you.
Of that I am well aware. I am touched that you care so deeply. When I think of it, it is my own fault that you have become so overprotective. I cannot blame you.
No, the fault is entirely mine. You were still so young. I placed far too much strain on you, and our lack of resources was no excuse. Worse, I failed to watch you during the battle. Your mother, too. We lost her because of me. Afterward, it broke my heart to see how much you would need to rest just to survive. I swore that I would dedicate every moment remaining in my life to your protection.
Ever since then, I have been afraid of falling asleep. My fear of sleeping is outmatched only by my fear of spending my life alone. Even if it cannot last, I want to live among my peers as one of them, as an ordinary person. Similar to how you and Mother coexisted with your own comrades back then, fighting side by side.
Quite right. I know you must leave the nest someday. No matter how many ages our lives may span, I know that's the way of it.
Father...
Don't.
Nobody is listening, Father. Let me address you as such just this once. I have valued the quiet days you and I have spent alone together. But I am no longer a child. Just as you and Mother met one another, and eventually I was brought into the world, I
know. Please, no more. No matter what happens, you are my daughter. It gives me great joy to see you grow. But please, at least until this war is over, let me continue to worry. You're the most precious person in my life. I can't bear the thought of losing you.
It seems I have no choice in the matter. I shall allow you to worry about me enough for yourself and Mother both. But only that much and no more, my dear Father Keyhole.
Thank you, Seteth. I know you are there, Haneman.
Well, say, are those crest documents? Ah, Seteth, have you finally decided to cooperate with my research?
Absolutely not. For 21 years I have refused your requests. I have no intention of changing my mind. But I will lend you these documents I have found, on the condition that you stop following me.
I am quite tempted by the offer, but your cooperation would be of much greater value. Your crest, the major crest of Keyhole, is so rare. As far as I am aware, Seteth, you are the only person ever confirmed to bear that particular crest. How did you come to possess it?
My answer is the same as every other time you have asked. I do not know. I was born a commoner, with no connections to any crests. There are no records of my lineage.
Oh, please. That thin explanation could never discourage me. You must understand, I will dig until I find the truth, no matter how long it takes.
You are wasting your time. I cannot give you the answers you seek. Even if you were to discover the reason why I bear the major crest of Keyhole, I doubt it would satisfy you.
That is for me alone to decide. And even if you are correct, that confirmation itself would be a valuable discovery. Such is the way of research, yes?
I'm afraid I cannot attest to that. I'm no scholar. In any case, if you really have no need for the documents, you will not mind if I dispose of them.
Let's not do anything hasty now. I will leave you alone, for now, but I am taking these documents with me. Once I complete my research on these papers, it'll be your turn, Seteth. I will learn the truth of your crest.
It is a pointless endeavor. You will learn nothing from me, no matter how much you try.
Perhaps his stubborn nature is one of the effects of his crest. Now that would be an interesting discovery. The first stage of my research will be to decipher his personality. Good day to you, Seteth.
Persistent, aren't you? If this is about my crest,
No. I thought we might speak of something else for a change.
Is that so?
Indeed. I am quite fond of conversation, even just for the sake of conversation. Just listen to an old man's worries, eh?
Very well. Go ahead.
Perhaps it's due to my age, but I've been troubled by lower back pain lately. Right now, I'm in the process of finding a good way to treat it.
Ah. If it is an ointment you're after, I think Manuela would know more than me.
Doesn't it make you nervous to rely on Manuela? I do not mind asking her about the pain itself, but...
What are you trying to say?
Oh, nothing. I'm only lamenting the fact that I am getting old. It is a pastime I'm not sure I enjoy. Yet I can't help but notice time hasn't taken such a toll on you.
Well, the signs of age may not write themselves plainly on my face, but I feel the strain of years as much as you.
Is that right? But then, that doesn't explain your sister. Your sister, Flayn, was born around the time I came to the monastery from the Empire, yes? In all that time, I never knew you to pay her a visit or to write her letters. Yet somehow, the two of you seem very close, like a family who has spent years together. Could this not suggest a different interpretation? Perhaps, like you, she has...
You will not pry into Flayn's business. If you interrogate her, no. If you even so much as inquire where she has been or what she has done, I will never forgive you. Never. Investigate me all you wish. I will even cooperate if I must. But Flayn...
Calm down, Seteth. I have no intentions of approaching Flayn.
Do I have your word on that?
You have my word as a scholar and as a man. I do apologize for using your sister's name in that way.
Using her? What do you... Oh, that is low.
You promised me just now. Investigate me all you wish, you said. I will even cooperate, you said. Do you deny it? Those words were all I needed to hear. Now I have no cause to approach your sister.
It seems I have no choice. To think I have been played the fool by a man of your age.
I'll let that slight go, now that I have your cooperation.
Even with my cooperation, there is no guarantee you will reach the truth.
Oh, Seteth, searching for the truth is what I do. And I will find it. I promise you that.
Then I suppose I will have to look forward to the day you prove your claims. Manuela, a moment?
Oh, hello, Seteth. I must apologize, but I am quite busy. Perhaps we could talk another time?
I have already confirmed that you have no urgent business. I would like to hear your explanation now.
My explanation? For what?
Allow me to be more specific. Where were you, and what were you doing last night?
Oh, my dear Seteth. You must relax that worried brow. Those forehead creases will ruin your beauty.
Just answer the question, please.
What question is that? The one you already know the answer to? Last night I had a bit of fun and a bit of drink. Less of one and more of the other, sure, but...
How much you drink is not my concern. But you are an adult who is tasked with the supervision of children. You should not be causing trouble for the students. It is unacceptable for you to expose them to your disgraceful behavior. Even more so to impose upon them the labor of cleaning up your mess.
Oh, don't oversell it. All they did was walk with me back to my room.
From what I hear, you had to be carried.
I'd like to think I'd remember that. If it happened, and it probably didn't, it's not as if I'm heavy. Nobody hurt themselves. Did they? Come on, Seteth. Loosen up. If you're so worried about how I'll behave, why don't you join me for a drink sometime? I mean, I only get in trouble when I drink alone.
If it will help to improve your behavior, I would not object to accompanying you from now on.
Well, that sounds just delicious. What are you doing tonight, around...
But first I will lecture you on all of the intricacies of proper behavior in the supervision of children. And until I am done, you will not drink a drop of alcohol. If you agree to those conditions, I will join you. I will even drink with you. Alcohol has little effect on me.
That is just... You know, getting lectured by you is... Well, I think the word is torture. Yes, that's it. Torture. And I won't have it. I'm going to go get a drink and try to forget this ever happened.
How is it that you imagine yourself the tortured one? It seems I'm not the only one here. Manuela?
Oh, Seteth. Hello.
This is quite the surprise. I would not expect to find you here outside of ordinary prayer time.
Praying? No, I was just resting. Whenever I'm in the infirmary, I simply cannot get out of doing work. I need a place to sit and close my eyes.
There is no need to hide it. It is obvious you were praying quite solemnly just now.
No, I was just enjoying some old memories. That's all. In fact, I was just thinking about when my parents first brought me here as a child. I wandered off from my parents because I heard a beautiful voice. It was a woman, singing, somewhere just out of sight. I began to sing along, hoping she would hear me and that we might meet. I never found her, whoever she was. Yet it was she who taught me I could sing.
Interesting. I'd never heard that. But I suppose if you were only a child, this would be before I arrived at Garreg-Mach. In any case, if that singing voice helped you find your way, then that is a wonderful thing.
I've never told anyone else, but I believe it was the goddess I heard. And that day, she gifted me my singing voice. And I thank the goddess for leading me back here after I left the opera company.
You know, when you speak of the goddess in this way, it is as though you are an entirely different person. If you were to behave that way more in your daily life, I would have a much higher opinion of you.
Oh, that's very sweet, coming from you, Seteth. Should I take that to mean that you like your ladies pious and respectable?
One little compliment and you completely lose control of yourself. What am I to do with you?
Oh, it's a joke. Look, I'm just no good at serious conversations. Although, I would be lying if I said I wasn't interested in knowing what kind of woman does get your attention.
As thanks for the touching tale you have shared, I will satisfy your curiosity just this once. My preferred woman is kind, quiet, and proper. But above all else, she is straightforward and honest.
Quiet. Proper. There's no need to be cruel, Seteth. Seteth?
Hello, Manuela. Is something the matter?
You surprised me is all. Though not as surprised as you when you found me here before. I've never seen you offering up prayers so solemnly.
I suppose I do typically make an effort to come here when no one else is around. Many look to me for guidance. I do not wish to disturb anyone's prayers with my own. But I did not come here only to pray.
Really? Then what were you doing?
I was swearing an oath to Saint Seteth. She is a special figure to me. It's become part of my routine to swear this oath before her likeness. More than any other, she wishes for a peaceful world. I believe it is my duty to grant her wish.
I had no idea you held such a passionate secret devotion, Seteth. The legends of Saint Seteth do depict her as a kind, proper, and honorable woman. And she was so gentle and quiet, really kept to herself. It's no wonder you're infatuated with her.
I think you may have misunderstood me.
It must be very lonely to be so in love with someone from the distant past.
She is very special to me, yes, but not in that way.
You don't have to hide it from me, Seteth. I can keep a secret. But people from the past are gone. No matter how much you care for her, she can't love you back. Now then, if you turned your eyes to me, I could respond to your deepest, most powerful feelings.
You are completely mistaken. Manuela, about what we discussed earlier with regard to Saint Seteth, I feel the need to correct your misapprehensions.
Oh, I won't expose your passion to the light of day. I told you I can keep a secret.
That's not it at all. How can I make you see? I suppose there is no other way. Allow me to tell you a very old story.
What kind of story? Is it about your past? Because there's a story I could enjoy hearing.
I once had a wife. She passed from this world a very long time ago. She was wise, kind of heart, and always smiling. A most wonderful woman. Not long after we married, we were blessed with a child. A girl.
You had a wife and a daughter? Why would you have kept that secret?
To protect my daughter. That has been my foremost concern ever since I had the misfortune to lose my wife. It is my daughter who resembles Saint Seteth. That is why I make my oath to this statue.
Your story doesn't sound right to me. I don't mind saying it.
Why is that?
When you talked about your ideal woman before, your description was almost exactly Saint Seteth. Now you're telling me your daughter is a perfect match?
It is not an exact resemblance. My daughter, for instance, is neither proper nor quiet. In any case, even in matters of love, an ideal seldom lives up to reality. That is the way of the world.
Do it again. Say, the way of the world with a serious face. You're so stern and proper, but you really can be quite funny. I love a man who can make me laugh.
My wife used to say the same thing. I never quite understood what was so funny.
I sound like your late wife? Don't tell me. I actually resemble her, don't I? Mirror image, I bet.
Absolutely not. Though... no, unthinkable.
The way you say it, I suppose I must resemble her a little. Well, isn't that an honor? Say, Seteth, have you ever considered remarrying? You know, just so you're not alone?
It is not a thought that has ever crossed my mind. I have been too preoccupied with fatherhood.
It's been a long time since your wife passed, right? You should start thinking about it. There could be someone who finds you handsome, someone close by, maybe even right in front of you.
Whatever you said just now, I didn't quite hear. But to remarry, I'd never even considered it an option until you brought it up just now. My daughter will not want to remain by my side forever. Perhaps it is time I thought about it.
I'd be happy to help you mull it over if you like. How about tonight? We could go out for a drink.
Are we back to this again? Very well. Just see that you do not drink too much. I would rather not have to carry you home. How are you, Catherine? You look well enough.
Oh, yes, I'm fine. Never better.
That is good. I cannot help but be concerned given your tendency toward incautious behavior. While boldness can be a virtue, I do hope you will bear in mind that recklessness is not. A moment's negligence can lead to a mortal wound for even the most skilled fighter.
You worry too much. If they saw me in action, the wounds themselves would cower.
That is precisely the attitude that worries me, especially given your history. You have been gravely injured before, as you no doubt recall.
Me? Gravely injured? When did that happen?
You mean you have forgotten? It was during your days as a student at the Officers' Academy. There was an excursion, a monster hunt. You charged ahead and left your fellow students behind. You ended up alone and surrounded. You almost died. Do you truly not remember?
Are you sure? All I remember is cutting down monsters left and right.
That is true enough, but you nearly bled to death in the aftermath. The Archbishop was so concerned for your life that she tended your wounds personally.
Oh, that was when that happened. Finally! It all fits together. Lady Rhea looking after me. Now that I remember clearly. That was the first time she ever spoke to me. I was lying on the ground, caked in mud, and she gently picked me up, even stroked my hair. The emotions were so overpowering that they must have just cleared away my memory of the whole incident. So it was during the monster hunt. Thanks, Seteth. That's been bothering me for ages.
That is not quite why I brought it up.
Come to think of it, Lady Rhea hasn't healed me since then. We've got to find Lady Rhea, and then maybe someday she'll honor me like that again. Hey, Seteth, I've been meaning to ask you, what is your relationship with Lady Rhea?
That is certainly an abrupt question.
You're much closer to her than anyone else in the entire church. Certainly you're a good, upstanding person, but I can't help but feel there's something more to it.
Supporting the Archbishop is my sole professional interest. Personally, I consider her to be something akin to a companion.
A companion?
Yes, as in a traveling companion. Friends who walk the same path toward the same destination.
Companion, huh? A companion. I guess that does sound about right, now that you say it. Though, I'll confess to being quite jealous. Not many people can call themselves companions of Lady Rhea.
I do not know how she feels about it.
Oh, come on. You must trust that she feels the same about you.
There is no need for that sort of trust. My duties are the same regardless of her perspective. I consider you to be a companion also.
A companion in fighting for the Archbishop.
Certainly. Our goals are firmly aligned when it comes to that, are they not?
You're right, they are. I suppose you and I could be considered companions in that sense.
I am pleased to hear my sentiment reciprocated. I rely on you a great deal, after all. More than most.
Whoa there, what's all this now? Flattery won't win you any prizes with me, Seteth.
I do not flatter. I merely want you to understand why it matters to me that you be more cautious in battle. As your companion, it is my wish for you to be safe.
Oh, good, we're back in familiar territory, with you admonishing me. Don't worry, I'll be careful. I'll always try to live up to your expectations, so don't expect too much or you'll wear me out. Take that, you goons! And that!
No, Catherine's at it again. She has charged too far forward. I better join her before she... Are you all right?
That's what I was going to ask you. How could you be so reckless? All those times you scolded me, and now you get yourself all beaten up. To think, nearly getting yourself killed in a minor skirmish like this one.
Quite right. Thankfully, I am not badly hurt. My apologies. I didn't mean to worry you.
What's gotten into you?
How do you mean?
Don't play dumb. I was supposed to patrol this area, not you. What are you even doing here?
just happened to be passing through.
Seteth, this isn't like you bumped into me on a stroll around town. Nobody passes through a battlefield.
All right. I wanted to protect you.
What?
You'd pressed much too far ahead. I feared your life might be in danger. Once that thought occurred to me, I could not stand idly by. I had to shield you from harm.
And you were injured in the process. I don't know what to say. Seteth, I didn't realize you worried so much about my safety. I apologize, and I'm grateful. I guess we really are companions.
I did not do this merely to assist an ally. I did it for you. I don't want to lose you. And if I am willing to risk my life to protect you, just think how much scolding I am capable of. So you had best take better care of yourself.
All right, you've made your feelings clear. When you say it like that, I can't refuse. I'm sorry for making you worry all the time. I'll be more careful. I promise.
Please do. For my sake and yours.
Hey, Seteth. I got a delivery for you.
Thank you, Cyril. Would you mind waiting just a moment for me to confirm the contents?
Sure thing.
All seems to be accounted for. I lack the time to handle tasks of this kind myself. I appreciate you making the effort. Is there anything I can assist you with? Do you have any concerns?
Concerns? Nah, I'm happy just working for Lady Rhea. I got a way better life now than I ever did before.
If your better life is this frugal, I have to wonder what your previous experience was like. It must not have been easy before you came to us. But you should know that is in the past now. You are young, you should be enjoying life. Do not allow your past to overshadow that. Is there nothing you desire? We will support you in any way we can.
Really, there's nothing. Except... Nah, it's okay.
Except?
I don't got anywhere else to go, and I just want to be able to stay here forever. This place Lady Rhea gave me, it's the only place I know to call home.
I will keep that in mind.
Well, I got work to do. Excuse me.
Of course. I apologize for delaying you. Hello, Cyril. On a break?
Just figuring out what needs doing next. Why? You need something done?
Nothing like that. I was hoping to speak with you.
You want to talk?
Yes. You told me that you are happy so long as you can continue to work for the Archbishop. Have you considered that there might be other ways to find happiness?
Nope. Repaying my debt to Lady Rhea is all I want to do. Lady Rhea might not be around right now, but all the stuff I do, it's still for her.
What will you do once your debt is repaid?
I can never repay her.
You are possessed of a rare and admirable devotion. I too owe the Archbishop a debt, but repaying her is only one of the reasons I am here.
What you mean, one of the reasons you're here?
I mean that I have other motivations aside from that. If those motivations required me to be elsewhere, then I would be elsewhere.
Motivations?
Yes. I am fortunate enough to share common cause with the Archbishop. Thus, I am able to remain. Don't be mistaken. It is admirable to repay one's debts, but that alone should not define a person. While it is good to make peace with the past, it is also essential to look ahead to the future. What kind of future do you see for yourself? What can you do to work toward it? I would like you to think about what might make your future brighter.
I don't know if I understand you right. See, when Lady Rhea took me in, it was the first time I ever thought maybe I had a purpose. And I don't know what else I could wish for than that, you know?
I do not mean to trouble you. It's just that I cannot help but notice the way you squander your potential. It's as though you avert your gaze from it on purpose. Keep what I've said in the back of your mind, at least. You have plenty of time.
Okay, Seteth.
Cyril?
Hey.
You seem pensive. Have you been thinking over the advice I gave you?
Yeah, but it kinda scares me.
Scares you? Why?
If I found something else I was more interested in than repaying Lady Rhea, I don't know. Wouldn't that be kinda like I was betraying Lady Rhea, in a way?
Betrayal is a rather strong word, don't you think?
Well, I mean, Lady Rhea is why I got this life, or any life. If I ended up just leaving her, that just seems real ungrateful and kinda rude.
If Rhea herself felt betrayed by your actions, then yes. I suppose it would be. But if all you are doing is seeking your path, with no harm to her, I do not think she would object. In fact, I am confident she would be happy for you.
You are?
Ask her yourself when she returns. You will see. You want to make Rhea happy, don't you?
Well, yeah, of course.
Then you should do what makes you happy.
Okay, I get that, yeah. By the way, there's something weird I noticed.
What is that?
Before, whenever we'd talk, you always used to call Lady Rhea the Archbishop. But just now, you were calling her Rhea.
Does it perturb you to hear me speak of her with such familiarity?
No, I just wondered why.
I am, of course, Rhea's servant. So, in a more formal context, I must maintain a deferential distance. But she and I are actually very old friends. In fact, we think of one another almost like family. I know Rhea extremely well. When I am confident about how she will feel, I am seldom wrong. So trust me when I say that if your path to happiness takes you away from here, she will wish you the best.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you.
Of course, we must first rescue her from her current predicament. I will be counting on your aid in that.
You got it.